Hey there everyone! Today we are going to learn how to play Catan. The first thing we will do is build the game board. These edge pieces fit together to make a frame, but we should make sure they are complementary. Then we randomly place these terrain hexes inside the frame. The interesting thing about Catan is that every game has a different setup than the other since we are building the board randomly every time. We also place a numbered token on each hex in a clockwise alphabetic order, starting from any corner overpassing the desert where the black rubber is placed instead. The larger the font of the number is, the more probable that number will be rolled. Now, each player collects their colored game pieces: settlements, cities, and roads. Now for the cards. There are 5 kinds of resource cards, each with their own pile. And there is also a deck of development cards. These give the players various advantages. You can only use development cards on your next turn, and cannot use more than one every turn. Each player now places 2 settlements and 2 roads. We start by the player who rolled the highest number on the dice. We continue clockwise until the last player builds his first and second settlements, and then come back counterclockwise. Settlements can be placed on hex corners if the 3 surrounding corners are empty. Roads can be placed on hex edges. Roads and settlements must always be connected. Now each type of terrain produces a different resource. Hills produce bricks, fields make grains, pastures make wool, mountains make ore, and woods make lumber. Now, each player looks at the 3 hexes surrounding their second settlement. They then take the appropriate resource card. Each player begins their turn by rolling 2 dice. I have rolled a 9, so anyone with a settlement on the edge of a number 9 hex collects one of that hex's resource card. Then I can trade resources with other players. If no one else wants to trade, I can trade 4 of the same resource for one new one. If I have already built a settlement on any dock with 3-1, then I can trade any 3 of the same resource for one new one. And if that dock is specific to 1, then I can trade 2 of this specific resource for one new one. Now I can build. There is a building cost card that tells what resources you need. You can build roads, settlements, or upgrade your settlements to cities, which collects twice as many resources. You win the game by earning 10 victory points. Each settlement is worth 1 victory point, while each city is worth 2. You can also buy development cards for random advantages. You can draw a victory point, a road building that lets you build 2 roads, an invention card that lets you draw any 2 resources from the supply stack, a monopoly card that lets you choose 1 resource and steal it from all your opponent's hands, and finally the knight. Collect and show 3 knights and you will receive the strongest army card, which gives you 2 victory points that no player can take from you unless they get 4 knights, and so on. Also, if you build 5 consecutive roads, you get the longest road card, which gives you 2 victory points that no player can take from you unless they build 6 roads, and so on. Now, if you roll a 7, you should move the robber to another hex. Then you choose anyone with a settlement bordering that hex and steal 1 resource card from their hand. Also, that hex won't produce any resources until the robber is moved again. Any person who has more than 7 cards when the 7 is rolled has to throw half of their cards into the supply stack. Finally, you can use the knight to also displace the robber. That is all what you need to know to play Catan. Now you are ready to claim the island of Catan for yourself.